So last week I said I was going to not enjoy any of these characters. I wouldn't get connected to any of these characters because I assumed they would all turn horrible or they would hurt someone in some way and it would just make me upset. And I've had people on previous comment sections video on Twitter say, keep that mentality, because if you don't have that mentality, because a lot go into the series wanting a true perfect romance and they end up dropping this. And I'm really glad I have this mentality, because I think I'd be really upset with like the teacher and the way a lot of these characters are interacting if I was sort of connected to them. And I'm not, but I'm so interested in this character dynamic. I mean, last week's ended on this kiss and this whole like Yuri moment that people were getting pretty excited about, and I was really interested to see where that was going to go. So we see this redheaded girl, I forget her name, but she's having the sleepover with our main female lead here, and we get to see her backstory about how, you know, Hanabe actually saved her on the train of this kind of groper who was feeling her up, so she took a picture of his face, he got scared off. And that's kind of the first moment where she realized that it wasn't that she just hated all men, it was that she actually liked females, and she actually really liked our main female. So I did like that little bit of backstory to show why she is so in love with her, and we see the kiss and we see all that, but what's really interesting is Hanabe doesn't actually kind of touch her back, whereas with Mugi, she actually does touch him back when he tells her to. So it's an interesting concept, and I like seeing the dynamic and how she got hurt, but also how Hanabe doesn't know exactly what she's feeling, because she does love this boy that she grew up with, who she used to view as a brother, but now she views him as a lover, and she's not really sure what her emotions is, but she says that she wants to try to love Mugi. She wants to try to give him her love, and you know that's not going to work. That's not how love is. Love is a thing that happens naturally. You can't try to make it happen, otherwise you'll have a relationship that will crash and burn, and we know that's going to happen. So I like the dynamic. I'm looking into her mind and seeing how everything's playing out, and I assume our main female, based on what we've seen so far, I feel like she's just going to end up being a complete and utter whore by the end of this series, to be 100% honest. But what's really interesting though is with the teacher, as we do see her with this other man who apparently was someone she tutored back in the day. She went, or this guy went to his school, she used to tutor him, but now it seems like they're a little more, they seem to be probably fuck buddies, to be honest, that's probably what they are, because she says this guy isn't her boyfriend when she does get confronted near the end of the episode, and she doesn't want our main female's brother to find out. So obviously she's kind of a slut in herself, so it's interesting like how everything's playing out, and I'm sure some people are going to be hating this teacher, saying like, oh, what a sleazeball, but really everyone's going to be a sleazeball in this series. It's a matter of where everything is ultimately going to end up. Is a relationship truly going to happen to any of these characters? Because everyone's going to hurt everyone at some point. And really, it's just a lot of, you know, despicable characters. And the characters I'm not hating yet, I'm just waiting for them to be horrible in their own way. I mean, you know, when she says that, you know, she's going to try to love Mugi, it's not going to work out. She only wants one person. She loves one person. But I wouldn't be surprised if she just whores out her body throughout this series. And it has been confirmed that it is going to be 12 episodes, but it is also confirmed that it is going to be adapting the ending. So this will have a conclusive ending, which I'm pretty happy for. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends with all the characters dying in a bus crash, you know? Like, I just don't see how there could be any sort of positive end for a cast of characters and a dynamic that is meant to just hurt people and show you the cruel ways that some relationships go. I mean, it's just a really fascinating series to me. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to end up dropping it at some point, because they're going to see one of the characters that they love or one of the characters that they want to be with someone else get completely crushed and broken, and they're just going to end up dropping it. But I really don't see how you could go into this series expecting a normal romance when the first episode clearly introduced this wasn't going to be a romance that ends well. It's going to have some heartbreak. But I have to say, I really did like the black and white imagery they used in the intro to show the flashback. Usually I'm not a fan of black and white imagery, but I have to say the way they handled it with the intro here, I thought it was a really nice touch to show the past, and when they did highlight it with color, it was really nice contrasting themes there. But overall, I just thought the execution of this episode was actually pretty damn good. I actually had a lot of fun with this. I would actually say this might be my favorite episode so far with the series, as it's really getting interesting. All the characters are starting to show their true colors, what's truly going on. We even get to see some Mugi backstory and how his adolescence was just kind of taken away from him by this other girl who pretty much just had sex with him non-stop. It's an interesting dynamic. All these characters are, like I mentioned last week, I'm not going to like these characters. I'm just really interested to see where these characters ultimately end up and what happens happens with everyone. And I mean, next week's going to be interesting as we're going to have another confrontation with our main female Hanabe as well as this teacher. And I wouldn't be surprised if a cat fight breaks out because these characters obviously don't like one another and they know how both of them feel. So I'm going to be interested to see where next week's go. But for anyone who watched this episode, what did you think of this? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you hating that teacher? Because like I said for myself, I refuse to like or hate any of these characters. It's like I'm staying in a neutral ground. But let me know your thoughts. And before you leave, please be sure to hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.